so increasingly dependent on artificial intelligence, parliamentary debate teaches students something very vital, which is how to think for themselves. Fundamentally, parliamentary debate promotes productive discussion. It pushes speakers to actively listen and comprehend the underlying principle of opposing views, all while advocating vigorously for their own case.
However, we noticed something was different in our school with regards to debate. We realized, unlike many schools, we did not have a culture of productive debate embedded. Hence, we three decided to build that debate culture in our school. We had sessions with both PYP and MYP teachers, not only teaching them the fundamentals of debate, but also giving them advice on how they can implement debate into their classrooms. Whether it was argumentative essays, spontaneous just-a-minute sessions where everybody speaks for at least a minute, or even structured parliamentary debates.
We conducted sessions with the students as well, teaching them not just the unique format of parliamentary debate, but also teaching them argumentation, critical thinking, and analysis. Furthermore, we've also been conducting general knowledge tests for students to encourage students to be aware about the world around them, something which is becoming increasingly crucial in this day and age.
Today's finals are more than just a competition. They are a celebration of this culture, a culture where questioning is celebrated, where students learn how to orate their ideas, and where there is productive disagreement. The Ambedkar Debate Prize draws inspiration from B.R. Ambedkar, who championed reason, equality, and was someone who constantly questioned his surroundings. Through this platform, we aim not only to build better speakers, but more thoughtful and informed citizens.
Before we move on, we would like to recognize our semi-finalists who put up a great performance and demonstrated significant skill. Please stand up when we mention your name. The first semi-finalists included Gap Inc., including Ananya Purni and Gayatri. Can you guys please stand up? The other semi-finalist teams, mostly civil, included of Ishan Chelkani, Mayur, and Nimeh. Can we have a huge round of applause for both teams? It only starts at 10.
With that, let the finals for Ambedkar 2025-26 begin. On the judging panel, we have Sai sir, Girish sir, Ms. Vaishali, Ms. Radhika alongside me, and Jay Arya. On side government, we have the rationalists, which comprises of Ishan Pokhriyal, Vihan Agarwal, and Haya Nasir. On side opposition, we have team wackier than ever before, which comprises of Baruni Das, Bhumi Bhandari, and Elizabeth Stockel.
Okay, so before we read out the motion, there is a bit of context behind it, so we'll be reading that out now. Zootopia has recently emerged from a civil war between different ethnic, religious, and cultural groups. After years of conflict, the war has now ended, and a new government has come to power with the aim of rebuilding the country and shaping a more stable future. During the war, communities became divided and began living separately in identity-based neighborhoods. In response, the government introduces a policy that forcibly relocates people to create mixed identity neighborhoods, where individuals from different groups now live together. The government believes that this will help rebuild trust and unity, while critics argue that forcing communities together too soon may increase tensions and insecurity.
The motion reads, this House would forcibly implement policies to create mixed identity neighborhoods in post-colonial states after a civil war, rather than allowing communities to remain segregated. Before we start the debate, a few ground rules. Participants are to note that each speech will be 6 minutes. The first and last minute will be protected time, which means POIs will not be asked during those minutes. I will give you one tap at 1 minute, another tap at the 5th minute, 2 taps at the 6th minute, and will drown you out at 6:15. There is a 15-second protected time between POIs. The audience is expected to keep all their phones in silent mode so as to not disturb the debaters. Without further ado, calling upon the Prime Minister.
We'll be starting shortly in about 2 minutes. We request all audience to remain seated and quiet. Hello.
Without further ado, calling upon the Prime Minister to begin their case. Here.
Yeah, so I'll be beginning my speech in the backward count of 3, 2, 1. Panel, when your town, city, or country has been consumed by the perils of war and demolished by the lines of ethno-religious conflict, side opposition wants citizens to hide behind walls, succumb to segregation, or wait years and years and years for natural change to take place. Things in this speech. Firstly, key terms in this motion, moving on to the burdens for our side that we need to prove to win this debate, onto the framing our side needs to characterize which world this debate lies in, and finally on the arguments which our side stands for. Firstly, key terms here. So forcibly, the government would mandatorily implement these schemes that all citizens have to follow. Next, mixed identity communities. These are simply groups that promote diversity, acceptance, they foster identity and collective unity. All of these things are achieved by creating these mixed identity groups. And lastly, civil wars. These are brutal internal power struggles for dominance, control, or religious lines. All of these things classified as civil wars. Now, what are the burdens our side needs to prove to win this debate? Firstly, why forcibly integrating communities is the only way for real societal acceptance to take place in the world. And secondly, how the benefits for forcibly integration outweigh all the harms that their side is going to bring up to you. Moving on to framing, right? What are civil wars? Let's just get some things out of the way. Firstly, there's no clear winner in civil wars. These are brutal, long-lasting conflicts, and they have no clear resolution. There's always going to be a gray area. Two factions that clearly emerge. Two factions that fight for power and fight for control. There is always going to be one power-packed government, and these continue on and on. The city is ravaged, and the city demands immediate action and change. Citizens want these resources, these initiatives, and these government projects. And lastly, moving on to the model. Firstly, the government will allocate land. This certain amount of land and a specific time period, say 6 months, will be allotted for these communities to move. According to the divide, according to patterns that the government notices, with no exceptions, on the lines of religious, ethno-religious, or even language-based communities. Then, an integration time period with existing services that are available in the town or region will be provided to all these communities. Moving then to our arguments. Firstly, why forcing is the only option? What does their side stand for? Let me tell you that. Two things here. Firstly, they want no government initiatives and projects to take place. Their side either will advocate for community-based action on its own or natural change to occur. And secondly, they don't want community integration to happen. What do we tell you here, panel? We tell you three things here. Societal backlash, greater barriers, and quicker change. Let's talk about this. Firstly, what are the problems on their side of the house? Suppose even if I am an open-minded citizen, a citizen who is willing to satisfy their differences, to campaign for cultural change, to campaign for unity and all of these things, what will happen? Society will villainize me. They will portray me as siding with the other side. They will shame me. They will villainize me. They will portray me as the great betrayer, the one who defied their country, who defied their town. What will happen? Everyone's scared of this. Everyone's scared of committing these crimes. Everyone's scared of society turning against them. What happens because of this? We tell you two impacts. Firstly, there are no future plans for integration. What happens? There's no cultural change. There's no actual change that's going on here. The culture never gets truly integrated, and language is always left aside. Secondly, unity is not achieved because people are scared to come together, to be together, to do things together. Everybody's scared, and unity, which is the end goal of our project, will not be achieved. Second, moving on to second, the greater barriers. How this divide increases with time in the future. Because we already told you how there will be no future plans or integration in that way, the ice thickens. Because the other side doesn't make a move, and nor does our side of the house, nor does our side. When the government forces this, how do we solve this? When the government forces this gives a chance for your side to make a move. Now the neighbors think, now because the government has forced you to do this, society won't turn against you. Society doesn't turn against you. This means gradually it increases. More people start to do this exact thing. More people start to campaign for culture and all of those things. Secondly, the ice doesn't thicken because these government schemes are immediate. They have a allotted time period. They are focused, deliberate, and calculating. All of these things happen, and progress, what happens because of this? Progress is immediate. When progress is immediate, trust builds, and trust builds greater and greater and greater. Quicker than the years you have to wait for natural change, for me to go approach someone and even fight against society's backlash. Moving on then to our second argument on government subordinate policies. Think about this panel. How would any government... Yeah? Exactly, that's my point I'm trying to make here, panel. People will never trust each other normally, even with natural change. People will never trust each other. That's why we need the government to do these schemes. That's why we need these government initiatives that force people. Only when we force people, only when we apply some amount of pressure, will this change actually happen. And that society can't backlash against them because I am following the orders of a government. I am not doing this of my own free will because I am given no choice. They're going to come here and tell you about freedom of choice, right? Because I don't have the choice. That's the only reason in the future, long term, that culture is anyways going to grow. Moving on then to my second argument, government supporting policies. How does the government emerge in any side, right? One side is stronger. One side is a majority. One side has the better culture, the better infrastructure, and that's how any government emerges, right? What happens because of this? The government has the incentive to cater to only that one side, to cater to that one side, give all the support, infrastructure, resources to that one side. What happens because of that? One side doesn't get these infrastructure projects, these things that they desperately need after the Civil War, or these schemes that they desperately need after the Civil War. What happens? That side becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. Now what happens? How does our policy solve these problems? Firstly, it's better for the people. Now people will accept each other because they know the results. Only if they suppose utopia, right? Let's take that example. Only if we people amalgamate, then only will the government have any incentive to cater to us. When people realize that this is the only way that they're going to get support from the government, that when they're going to get projects from the government, that's the only way they're going to get acceptance and results. Now the government, what's the incentive for the government here? They grow their power base, they grow their voter base, and that's as a result how all of this happens and how all of this change happens. Now to summarize our case here, what are we saying? We're not against natural change. We're not denying that there will be a certain amount of tension or cultural appropriation. We're simply saying that the alternative is long-term existential crisis which never gets resolved. Thank you so proud to be.
That's the bell.
We also request participants to use the mic for PYs.
I'll begin my speech on the backward count of 3, 2, 1. Panel. Side proposition wants you to eradicate any choice of the people in major decisions like housing, prioritizing temporary illusions of peace over a stable society. We stand against this strongly and benefit all the stakeholders while doing so. So the structure of my speech will be as follows. I'll do rebuttals first, move on to characterize a debate, and then introduce our arguments. So firstly, you say that you will forcibly move people, but you're going to take more than 6 months to do it. Just because you're taking more time to eradicate the choice of people doesn't mean that you're still forcing people. This also won't work, as the government is going to get voted out of power for making these choices that negatively impact the people. However, on our side, this doesn't even happen, because we're encouraging natural change over the course of time, which is voluntary and doesn't create tension between the people. You also said that campaigning for unity will only happen on your side. But you can also campaign for unity, for trust, for building solidarity, even when you're not forcing integration, which is what our model does, as I'll explain in the speech later. You also say that on our side, there's going to be a villainization of open-minded people. But that's going to happen on your side as well. Because if, say I move in some, when I start engaging with my neighbors, being open-minded with them, my culture is still going to view me as a traitor to everything that I stand for. So I'll be doing our framing now. So what are the burdens that we need to prove to win? We need to prove why forcing ethnic groups together is not the best way to solve the problem of disunity, and why forcing ethnic groups together to live together has more major harms than benefits. So what is our counter model? In our counter model, we have government officials and representatives from different ethnic groups doing awareness programs that specify that the civil war that just happened wasn't the fault of these ethnic people. That doesn't mean they have to hate each other, but the fault of bad leadership, ineffective leadership that created tensions. This will show them that it's okay to interact with these other ethnic groups on their own, voluntarily, without any forcing. So this is also a better way to solve the problem that exists in the status quo, because it's not compromising the daily lives of people, it's not taking away the will of people to do what they like, and it's voluntary, which will reduce tensions created by force, it will reduce resentment against the government, reduce conflict overall, and people will be happy with the life that they're living. There will also be public centers, like centers you go to normally to do your grocery shopping, to do daily life, to do things that happen in your daily life, where people can still integrate to build trust and unity, and it's not compromising the way that they live either. So what are our arguments? Our first argument is that forcibly moving people together creates conflict. So what does this lead to? This leads to a slippery slope of negative activities. Because when the government is forcing people to live together, let's take your best case scenario that it works. People will still think that it's okay to violate people's lifestyles and their choices if you ignore the fact that you're just taking away people's will to live. And when it doesn't work, which is what will happen, it will invade other parts of people's lives, like where they work, what social activities they have. So then what is this argument my DLO will build on later as well. So what is our second argument? Is that there exists a right of choice to people to choose where they want to live. So on proposition side, you're taking away the basic human right of choice, which is being able to choose where you want to live, what sort of environment you want to create for you and your family. You're also imposing certain lifestyle choices of culture and tradition on the people that already stay in this neighborhood that you're forcing other people to move into. And forcing people to leave what might be an ancestral property, decades of resources, love, and hard work put into that property, you're just asking them to leave it all behind, to move into some other neighborhood where they've probably been told the people living there are bad, just for this random selfish purpose of the government. So what does this lead to? Firstly, you're stripping people of basic rights, and the people will not trust the government, which makes their whole policy ineffective. Because if you can't trust the government to implement policies that are best for you, how are you going to trust some random person who moved in next door, who you've probably told your entire life that they're bad? Secondly, when you force people to move, it's going to lead to instability, because you no longer have any connection to the culture, the roots of society you've been brought up with your whole life. No longer any job opportunities, any connections to the society you've been living in for all this time, and it's going to be a waste of resources to the life you've built in this place, the connections, the society, the future you've built for yourself in this place. So how does our side solve it? When we are not forcing people to live together, we're giving them the right to make their own choices on future-shaping decisions like where you want to live. We're also allowing people to stay connected to their home, their roots, without taking away any choice. And we're not eroding the culture of this place, because we're actually allowing that culture to exist. Without forcing people, we're making the change voluntary. And this reduces the tension and the conflicts, which is going to benefit all stakeholders, especially the government. What are the impacts of our side solving this problem? Firstly, there's going to be less resentment and a happier society towards the government, which is maintaining order and peace. It will also lead to a stable life for all the individual people in this community, because you're not taking away choice from them. You're giving them choice. You're allowing them to build their own life the way they want, and it'll also lead to a more stable nation overall, because you have a stable society, which is going to help the nation in international relationships of things related to economics, politics, and society. And it's also going to maintain culture and induce more unity, because the culture actually exists, and you're actually allowing people to make choices about how they want to interact with people, where they want to interact with people, and you're not forcing them to make decisions based on major things like housing just because the government wants them to do so. Thank you. So proud to oppose.
I'll be beginning my speech on the reverse countdown of 3, 2, 1. Panel, we live in a world where hate is boiling, violence is boiling, and opposition simply wants to push these communities further apart instead of pulling them together for the benefit of society. So I'll be beginning my speech with some rebuttals. The main argument they came up here and told us about was freedom of choice. But in reality, freedom of choice doesn't exist on their side of the house either, because of social pressure. People will never voluntarily take the step to go and interact with people of other communities, because they've been brought up with this bias that other communities are bad, because these communities have been historically discriminated, and people are never going to voluntarily make this step because they're scared of social backlash. So freedom of choice is eradicated on their side of the house, while on our side of the house, we prioritize the benefits of society. So through that POI, they concede to the fact that after the Civil War, hate is at its peak, And we believe that on their side of the house, this hate is simply thickened by segregating societies and preventing them from learning about other cultures. Because on their side of the house, all they see other cultures as is like stereotypes and biases that they've been brought up with. But whereas on our side of the house, we're encouraging these segments of society to live it together, we're allowing them to see them for what they actually are, not just who they are as a surface or how they're generalized as a community, but who they actually are and the things that they share in common. When people finally recognize this means that they can unite over the things that they do share in common, and violence is hence reduced in society. Whereas on their side of the house, they're just further promoting this violence because they're not letting communities see other communities for who they actually are and for like the good characteristics that they could actually have. So I really didn't understand the point about governments getting voted out. Like this is not how it works when a government enforces a policy. So we believe that on their side of the house, government backlash would be much more because through our arguments we've proved how the government would obviously prioritize one community because the majority of the members from the government would be from that community, meaning that more resources and funds would go into prioritizing the development of that specific community, which means that there'd be a lot of backlash from the other marginalized community, and which means that the government would face more backlash on their side of the house, whereas on our side of the house, the policy is being enforced for both sides of the house. And the communities don't feel marginalized, therefore backlash would be reduced. So on our side of the house, we promote social activities because we improve infrastructure for both sides of the house, which we'll be proving through our arguments. This means that the quality of life is not just secluded to one certain community, but is improved for both communities. And on their side of the house, by allowing people to rebuild their society, they're just allowing them to rebuild it while reinforcing these stereotypes and biases, which means that the hate and violence and discrimination against the community will never be overcome. And panel, please check your notes. They've given us absolutely no rebuttals on our argument about representation. Okay, moving on to our next argument, cultural diversity. On that side of the house, by putting people of the same culture, ideology, and beliefs together, they're generating beliefs and hate for other communities. The beliefs and hate and violence against other communities just get stronger, which we'll be proving to you later. On our side, we promote collective identity through diversity. Because people are forced to create shared systems that benefit both. They're forced to create infrastructure and social systems that are beneficial to both communities without any discriminative policies. And they all want shared goals. They all want their society to benefit as a whole, which means that they're forced to come together and work together and recognize each other for more than stereotypes and what they are on the surface. So promoting cultural diversity on our side of the house shows that we show better outcomes in terms of coexistence. And in the future, people of different skill sets and perspectives their skill sets are actually utilized for the betterment of society and different industries grow. So we prevent hate and stereotype running forward for future generations. And basically, when both communities come together to promote communal well-being, they're able to let go of their differences to improve and develop personally and socially. But on their side of the house, by allowing these divides in their society, they're even promoting extremism because people share the same beliefs. There's no opposing perspective, and the government would obviously strengthen these beliefs and like hate beliefs, which means that extremism is much more likely on their side of the house. They're making, I'll take it later, but assumptions on other communities. It's kind of like an online echo chamber because they're not exposed to any information about other communities. They have the same stagnant perspectives, and that hate and anger is likely to blow out as extremism and violence. So the state government body of both sides would have only one party with similar political perspectives. This means that stagnant policies occur, which means that a community can't develop economically and socially. The neighborhood as a whole would also lack perspective, and the focus becomes prioritizing that difference of what sets them apart. So instead of like focusing on what we could truly do as a society, all the focus goes to the differences that they share with another community. And like the realization of these differences thicken, which means that hate is generated and all the violence is taken into the future. So our next, now I'll be giving you a stakeholder analysis. Okay, so both community X and Y on our side of the house gain representation and coexist. Within the government, both sides have representation, which means that they can incorporate policies that benefit both sides of the house in terms of like their religious and social beliefs. So they also unite to improve the quality of life for both. The government is obviously committed to providing enough resources for both sides of the house because they want both. Because there's no longer any bias and they want both sides of the house to benefit. So this means that quality of life improves for both societies. They also get the choice to interact without feeling socially pressured, whereas on their side of the house, there's absolutely no room for social integration and diversity because people are never going to voluntarily make the move to interact with one another. So on our side, the government benefits because the government bias is eradicated. The governments prioritize development of both communities, which means that the infrastructure develops and the economy develops, and in turn the nation as a whole develops. Because there are more members of society contributing to economic development, so it's beneficial to society as a whole. Radicals and extremists are also reduced in society because the beliefs are reduced, which means that any harsh beliefs or violence is reduced. And on our side of the house, we promote a world where the society benefits as a whole and anger is reduced.
We thank the Deputy Prime Minister for that fine speech, calling upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Hear, hear.
I'll be starting my speech on the reverse. One sec. I'll be starting my speech on the reverse countdown of 3, 2, 1. Panel, imagine living in a world where you've heard that Pakistanis can't be trusted all your life, and now suddenly you're forced to move in with them. The structure of my speech will be as follows. I'll be starting with some rebuttals, my arguments, and a stakeholder analysis. Okay, firstly, my rebuttals. The PM said the ice will thicken. They said that over time people will isolate, which leads me to believe the main argument is people will isolate further and only one society with resources will succeed. This doesn't stand as on their side of the house, the ice freezes instantly. How is putting people who hated others all their life, a POI they failed to answer, going to make them curious, incentivize them to mingle? What preemptive steps are you taking? Absolutely nothing. On our side of the house, we solve this issue as we start with small steps, as my LO mentioned. For example, we start by change in educational syllabus for all societies to make them one unified syllabus that all societies follow, eliminating some stereotypes before they occur. Their DPM said that people would never volunteer to integrate. So they concede the fact that conflict will occur as this unison is something the people never wanted. So your whole point of violence occurring on our side of the house doesn't happen. And we solve this on our side as we start by introducing government officers who want to make change. You said the government only has to change one aspect, only changes one aspect of the people's life, but this leads to a slippery slope of negative effects. If the government forces them to live together, if it doesn't work, it'll invade other parts of people's lives. Because the government is forced to make it happen, because the whole thing the government has to do is get voted. And what starts as a goodwill mission will turn into a totalitarian society where every move of the people has to be decided by the government. Okay. Also, the stereotypes will be influenced more on your side because you don't have people being aware of the facts about the other groups, and we have goodwill missions and awareness camps. Now I'll be moving on to my arguments. All right. So my first argument is the negative impacts of force. When people are pushed together, they repel much harder. Education, media, society. Education teaches them that these Pakistanis can't be trusted, and they initiated the war. The media displays them in a degrading way, something this community has to aspire to be better than. The society, rumors, gossip, the environment they grow in is toxic to this other ethnic group. Now what will happen? Now you've integrated these people. Your best case, you've integrated them into society. Now what will happen? This huge group has the amazing opportunity to get rid of the minority of these Pakistanis. So why won't they just wake up in the middle of the night and slit some throats? Is the killing of life worth the illusion of harmony? No, that you bring on your side? This may seem radical, I know, but tensions are high. There has already been a civil war as stated by the motion. Even if this doesn't happen, the chance of a good society will be ruined. Because one mistake minus this minority will lead to centuries of mistrust. POI, yeah.
Yeah, so as you said, when media, society, rumors, gossip, you've been told your whole life that the other side's evil. Without the government stepping in, how do you think that these education schemes, which have been tried and tested for so many years, will work?
The government stepping in is not doing anything. The government stepping in is pushing these people in 6 months, which is not enough, together. What our model does is the government steps in a good way. They change the educational systems. They change the belief of the society as a whole before making any big changes. So the people can acclimatize with each other before killing. Okay. Now I'll be moving on to our solvency. Our solution of integrating government officers first and integration of all educational systems starts unifying the people before they have to make big changes themselves, like I just mentioned. Reducing stereotypes before putting people in a tension-filled environment will make sure they don't want to kill each other and they actually are curious about what the other society is doing. You said they want to have resources and technology, right? But if you just push them together, this good society will only want to preserve their resources and technology. They won't be curious about what the other society does to live. Our model helps them be curious, helps them more accepting to share. Okay, now I'll be moving on to my stakeholder analysis. Ethnic groups. On our side of the house, the ethnic groups get a feel of how life with other diverse groups would feel like, because as government officers who wants to make change voluntarily is in their life and without any of the forceful push and stereotypes. Our solution incentivizes the people to see how others are like, and they're curious about the technology and resources other communities use. It's small steps. On your side, in the best case, the ethnic groups are pushed together in a stressful environment, and even if they don't blame each other and somehow become one society, they blame the government. And this will lead to another civil war. And the government on our side, government has more pliable people who are curious and vote for them because they have taken these preemptive measures, which your side does not mention at all. But on your side, the best case scenario is the government still goes against the basic principle of people's right of choice. And while the people might like each other, they will still hate the government and overthrow them. They will riot against the government. Why? Because the incentive of old grudges and revenge are there when the government pushed them together, and this compromised their daily life a few decades back. Okay. Every time the government tries to control the people's subjective views, history has predetermined chaos. Worlds that are set up to work out never succeed when someone has to force the people. The people have to do it themselves, and they have to start small. Thank you.
We thank the Deputy Leader of Opposition for that fine speech, calling upon the government whip whenever they're ready.
I'll be starting my speech on the backward count of 3, 2, 1. Panel, side opposition comes up here and tells you a world where fake change, a world where no real change will ever be achieved, and they tell you a world on our side of the house where choice is violated, where no real cultural change is achieved. But panel, this is not the reality the world lives in. Panel, few things in this speech. I'll be providing a clash-by-clash analysis onto how we win this debate, followed by summarizing our case and overall proving why we clearly take this debate over side opposition. Okay, panel, moving on to clashes. Firstly, they talk to you about alternatives versus on our side of forcing people together. Panel, why is what we tell you better? What do we tell you? We tell you that when people are forced together, it's the only good option, and that this way there's no societal backlash that will be achieved by their alternatives, and there will be quicker change, which is more likely to actually put people together rather than the natural change, which has not worked for centuries. Okay, panel, what do they tell you in their arguments? They tell you that forcing people leads to conflict. They tell you that this can lead to governments being voted out. They tell you that just by forcing people together, you're already increasing the tension in an environment. But panel, this is not true. What happens when you put people together? These people are now having one collective identity. These people are now one kind of people. They're not separated by ethnic groups. They're together. They are one identity. Take a look at all the ethnic groups in India. They're not classified under the government later as different kinds of people. They are all Indian. They have have one collective identity, and this one collective identity is more powerful than everything else. Okay, panel, one more thing in this clash. They talk about how representation and voluntary interaction is the only real solution. But panel, does this representation really exist on their side of the house when you have walls dividing people, when there's segregation that continues to persist? But panel, isn't there real representation on our side of the house when you have people who have come together, who have representatives who understand each side of society because they have come together as one collective identity? Okay, panel, now moving on to the second clash, which connects to my point previously. Where is more representation achieved on either side of the house? Panel, we tell you that you have representation coming from how government originally will have some sort of inherent bias, but this bias will slowly go away when these people have come together, when these people no longer are divided by this civil war, when these people are no longer divided by ethnicity but united by this collective identity that exists. And panel, this is so much stronger for representation. This leads to way more policy change, and this leads to way more benefits for society as a whole.
Pure.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay. How are you ensuring choice of the people isn't being eradicated?
Okay, panel, firstly, side opposition clearly fails to recognize that right of choice doesn't really exist, because when you have people who are going to call you out, when you have people who are going to tell you that you are wrong, you are a traitor to society, you don't deserve to be here because of the fact that they conceded that there's this preconceived notion that a certain group is bad, how do you expect people to get out of that? How do you want people to voluntarily step out of that bubble when there's this fear of societal backlash, when there's this fear that they're going to be called out, humiliated, and publicly insulted? Okay, panel, so there's no right of choice here. This right of choice is completely destroyed on their side. That's why the argument does not stand. Okay, panel, moving on to my third clash in this debate. Where is real stability achieved? Panel, we tell you that when these groups come together, these communities are slowly going to achieve stability by coming together and, like I said, achieving this collective identity. Like my DPM stated, what we do is that we bring these people together, and when you have these people who have like different kinds of civil war issues already being put behind them and now embracing this new identity, these people are very likely to have more stability and reduce their past issues behind them. But on their side of the house, when these people are still being separated, when these fake education schemes, when these schemes that they talk to you, how incentivizes people to explore other groups, or while on our side of the house we create a blame game which leads to more civil war, doesn't work. Okay, panel, they talk to you about how acclimatizing people with each other before through education schemes, to campaigns, through advocacy programs is actually going to lead to more stability. But panel, what does this do? This preconceived notion that these people have is only going to be intensified with education. When you have societies like India, where they also consider the fact where you've always grown up with this belief that a certain ethnic group like the Pakistanis are bad, how do you expect people with continued education schemes to step out of this? How do you expect these people to actually break this preconceived notion no matter how much pressure society puts on them? Okay, panel, moving on to the final clash that I identified in this debate. Choice versus cultural change. Okay, when we tell you cultural change and integration, we don't only mean people coming together. We mean real policy change. We mean real representation in society, and we actually mean greater barriers being destroyed, and we actually mean society coming together as a whole. Unlike their side of the house, where natural change is supposed to take place, which can take years, which can take decades, which can take centuries to bring these people together after breaking all these preconceived notions, which we do not have time for. And panel, this brings me to why we win this debate. So I weigh this debate on multiple metrics. I weigh this debate on time, I weigh this debate on magnitude, and I weigh this debate on probability of real change. Okay, panel, coming to time. Like I said, their side of the house takes way too long to achieve this natural change, while they're providing immediate change that is necessary to bring society together, immediate change that is necessary to destroy this preconceived notion after the civil war. Panel, time is an essential metric on which we clearly take this debate over side opposition, because they have absolutely no response on how they're going to lead to immediate change. Okay, panel, second metric that I weigh this debate on, magnitude of impact. Okay, panel, we tell you in our first and second speeches how we're catering to more people, how we're catering to people and actually bringing together ethnic minorities together. What does this do? They talk to you about how there's more representation and more stakeholder benefits on their side of the house. Panel, these stakeholder benefits are completely false. They tell you how government influence everything, and they tell you how unification before change is actually beneficial to society. But how long is this unification going to take? Who knows? But what we tell you actually is how people are going to come together and all stakeholders are benefited. Okay, panel, to end my speech, I'm going to talk to you about how overall our side of the house benefits more stakeholders, we have better long-term impacts, and we have more probability of real change, which is why we clearly take this debate over side opposition. So proud to propose.
We thank the government whip for that fine speech, calling upon the opposition whip to end their case. Hear, hear.
I'll begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panel, side proposition believes it is right and constructive to force someone to move in next to a neighbor who is culturally affiliated to a group that has killed family members without sensitivity. This clearly results in backlash towards the government. They have also completely not engaged with our model whatsoever and have made an n number of claims without providing any proof or mechanization on how they will actually work to create stability. They also provided no engagement on our argument about hate and riots towards the government for limiting choice. Their whole argument on representation doesn't stand either, because with our model, there are clearly different representatives from different ethnic groups that allow for communities to see each other in different ways without forcing them suddenly to move next to each other and suddenly having to live together without any prior sensitivity or prior awareness being made about it. Now, the structure of my speech will be as follows. I'll be introducing the clashes in the debate, how we won them, and finally why we won the debate. The first clash that I recognized was about stereotypes, tensions, and who actually creates a stable society. So on our side, we were able to prove how our model will break stereotypes slowly without force or violating human rights. And we rebutted how, on our side, stereotypes will exist. And we proved how tensions will rise when people are forced together, as when the government does it without time and peace, without sensitivity, it'll actually lead to more backlash and more tension between these two ethnic groups. And we proved how our side solves this and the positive impacts of this. However, on their side, they weren't able to prove how they will actually prevent tensions from increasing. They weren't able to prove why stereotypes aren't amplified, and they said that there will be change on their side, but how? And they also provided no proof on how people will trust each other due to government policy. They provided no proof on how they will break down lifelong stereotypes, and how does even moving next to a Pakistani actually cause me to be more open-minded towards them? Just because I'm living next to them, then I'll just be forced closer to them. It'll just make me even more angry towards them. It'll reinforce all the stereotypes I know about them, so that their whole model doesn't even stand. Also on their side, they forced, which they claim that this causes change. However, they provided no proof on how this will actually mechanize, and they claim that their attention on our side is open-minded people will be villainized. However, this happens more on your side, is if you engage with your neighbors, you'll be seen as traitors, and on our side, entire ethnic groups become open-minded through our model in a stable way, and not just with certain open-minded citizens. So why does this clash actually matter? Stereotypes lead to more societal tension, anger, riots, and death, and this needs to be stopped, not through force. We need stability. So why do we win this clash? Firstly, we won it on short-term impacts. Outside, maybe there's still, on our side, there might still be slight anger. However, on their side, people are forced together, which completely violates right, which creates anger towards the government and towards other ethnic communities. On the long term, however, on their side, there's even more distrust, not only towards the government, but also towards these other ethnic groups that they are suddenly forced to live next to without any warning or awareness from beforehand. However, on our side, we actually create long-term stability as people will be more inclusive and move together naturally through our awareness programs. We also won this clash on vulnerability as we benefit the ethnic groups the most vulnerable stakeholder in the long term. Yeah, I'll take your POI now.
So why do you believe till now, with multiple examples of these rehabilitation schemes, education schemes, why haven't these worked till now, and what is your plan for your schemes being any different?
So these actually, there aren't any actual examples of schemes like ours in the past. Like, for example, in India and Pakistan, in Indian education is still completely biased towards India when it comes to partition. So that's why a lot of Indians still feel a lot of hate towards Pakistan. However, our education model aims to solve this, and our awareness models aim to solve this. Okay, so our second clash was about the freedom of choice versus the greater good. So on our side, we clearly proved the negative impacts of violating choice and how we solve them. These negative impacts include anger towards the government. And we proved how even on our worst case, if the negative impacts don't happen, violating the principle is still ultimately, at the end of the day, completely wrong. And we proved how we eventually will lead to stability as there's less resentment towards the government. How, as our model of awareness pushes to natural change, where society will integrate eventually on its own. However, on their side, they weren't able to ensure that negative impacts of violating the principle won't happen. And they said that the freedom of choice will never actually happen on our side, as you can't ever make a voluntary choice, as you'll be seen as a traitor. However, why doesn't this stand? Two reasons. Firstly, through our awareness programs, stereotypes will be broken down. The entire community will become more culturally engaged with the other community. So the entire community will become more sensitive towards the other ethnic group, not just these one open-minded people. And on their side, there are only a select open-minded people that will engage with neighbors while the others will still riot. So why does this clash matter? On principality, breaking ethics and basic morals is never right. It can lead to a slippery slope. This isn't morally right. And also on practical, is violating the principle clearly leads to instability and anger, and we cannot simply be losing lives. So why do we win this clash? We won this clash on principle. We uphold it and get positive impacts from it. And even if on their best case, they get stability and peace in society, we still win the debate as we did it without violating basic freedom of choice. Okay, so finally, why do we win this debate? We were able to prove our burdens about why forcing groups together does not solve the problem, and as it will create more resentment, as we proved time and time again, which they've ignored. And we've also proved why forcing together has more harms than benefit, as anger towards the government will lead to instability. We also clearly solve the problem as we create slow natural change encouraged by awareness instead of the sudden force which is without any prior warning. And also, we will bring good change, and they have not managed to prove their burdens. They haven't proved how their model will actually solve the problem. They haven't mechanized that whatsoever. And Woodside proposition rather have stability in a few years versus riots in the short term and increased tension in the long term. Thank you. So proud to oppose.
We thank the opposition whip for that very fine speech. The panel will take 5 to 10 minutes to come up with their verdict.
Okay, so, wait, we'll let them leave first and then. Okay, guys, so the panel is going to take a little bit of time to decide their verdict. So in the meantime, all of you participated in the Ambedkar Debate Prize this year. So we want to know your opinions about, one, the general proceedings, and then after that we'll talk about this debate at first. So do you think there were any problems with the prelim rounds or the final rounds? Anything that could be changed for next year? Anything we could do better? Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, that's the... So essentially, so I'll explain this to everyone else as well. This is something that we've received quite commonly. Power pairing is what we do to make the matchups round after round. So round one will be completely random, and then based on that... No. So essentially, the winning teams are paired against the winning teams, the losing teams are paired against the losing teams. We do this to ensure the most fairness, because if you pair there's obviously going to be teams that are really, really good and then teams that are not as good. And if you pair them together, it's incredibly unfair, because random pairing will result in that. We do power pairing because even if you lose to another winning team, you're probably going to have a high speaker score, which is what we take into consideration at the end. So power pairing is actually the fairest way, because randomization could result in weaker teams not receiving a fair chance.
Power pairing of teams.
Yeah, it's followed in all competitions wherever you go. Anything else? Oh, yeah.
So in the workshop, you explained a bunch, but there wasn't really much about on how a whip works, stuff about clashes, all of that. So it would be better to learn more about that, because there's so much stress on the PM and DPM, we kind of are leaving the whip role behind.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I think maybe it should be separated grade-wise, because it's unfair for grade 6, because grade 7 and 8 are obviously better than them because they have experience, for most people. And it's unfair for grade 7 too, because grade 8 will have more experience.
To some extent, that's fair, but I mean, we've been doing Eureka for 3 years and it's always been 6 to 8. This year, we've had 7th graders in finals. Yeah, obviously, yeah, I agree that maybe the 6th graders won't have enough experience, but if we do it like this, the 6th graders have 3 years to try. If we do it grade-wise, the 8th graders only have 1 year to try. That's kind of unfair, no? Okay.
Trial by fire.
Okay.
Best way to learn.
If there's nothing else, then we'll move on to your thoughts about the debate.
Can I ask one question? How many of you participated in Eureka debate last year versus also doing it this year? And ones who are not part of the debate club. Okay, you guys are not part of the debate club. You participated last year and you participated this year. Do you have a view on how the process went?
I feel last year we were 6th graders and debate was a very new topic to us. And even though we did have the workshop, it was only like, I think, 2 periods. So I don't think it gave us like enough knowledge about debate. And we went in kind of unprepared. But we did learn a lot about debate, and especially this year, building on our skills, I think we improved so much. And yeah.
Like last year, it was like we were new to debate and like we were learning on the go. But like this year, we were so much more prepared and like we enjoyed it a lot compared to last year because like we knew the format, we could ask POIs, we could engage well. So it was a different experience.
I think this year compared to last year was also much more organized. I think the structure of the whole debate this year was much better. It gave an equal chance. And yeah, similar to Samaya's point, how from last year to this year, how we have more experience. And like, because I have never debated before other than these Eureka rounds. So I think it was a very enriching experience.
Great. I don't think any of you realized. Did you talk about the prompt, Sai, at the start? Did you talk about it? Did you tell them where that prompt came from? You want to tell? Who wants to tell?
Okay, so how many of you guys recognize something about this? It's connected to something you did in like the last 2 months. All of you. You would have done it at some point. Not 6th grade. Yeah, learning journey, you're right. So that's what we're going to try and make finals motions focused on learning journeys from now on so that you have even more prior knowledge. It leads to more fruitful debate. You saw this one. It was honestly one of the good debates that I've watched in my time.
Sai, you want to say? You want to say where that prompt comes from originally? Or do you want me to? So kids, this prompt, you want to? This came from 2 years back. Sahas Ajmera, who we thought at Doon School Chuck debates was going all the way to the top. The team stopped at the second last point, got eliminated in the semi-finals on this prompt. That's what you got today. This was a very tough prompt, really well argued, you guys, and truly proud of all 3 of you for what you have done. Supported by Sai sir. Fabulous job. Fabulous, fabulous job. Irrespective of the outcome, all winners, you all learn much more. Public speaking and debate is the best possible preparation for a high metabolism life, which I think all of you now have managed to hear from me at some point of time or another. What I do want to do at the end of it, after you announce, I do want to take a group photo of this team, the team that came to the semi-finals, and then the rest of the team as well over here. Let's take one group picture with all of them. Yeah? So you guys. You want this?
Hello. Hello. Okay. So before we move on to the finals verdict of who takes Ambedkar Debate Prize, we would like to announce some speaker awards that were given over the course of 3 rounds that happened across Ambedkar Debate Prize. We are now going to be announcing the top 5 speakers who were considered the best speakers out of the 120 people who participated in the overall Eureka for debate. When I call out your name, please stand up. For fifth speaker, we had a tie between two speakers. The fifth speaker award goes to Gayatri and Haya. Please clap applause for them. The fourth best speaker goes to Vihan Agarwal. The third best speaker award goes to Bharani Das.
The second best speaker goes to Ishan Pokhriyal.
And now, for the best speaker out of all 36 speakers that were there, goes to Elizabeth Stockett.
Now for the most awaited decision, the verdict of the finals. On panel, we had Sai Sir, Ms. Vaishali, Ms. Radhika, Girish Sir, Jay. Sai Sir gave it to side government. Ms. Vaishali gave it to side government. Ms. Radhika gave it to side government. Girish Sir gave it to side government. And Jay gave it to side government. On a unanimous verdict, the motion passes, the rationalists win.
Okay, so just a general feedback, and please feel free to add. This motion required the side government to have two burdens, which they've rightfully identified. One is, why is forcibly going about this change the only way to integrate communities? And the other is that by doing so, there are going to be more benefits than harms. On the opposition, they had to prove why forcing is obviously not the right thing to do, in addition to why the freedom of choice or the idea of choice is that much more important or sacrosanct and need to be upheld. And practical argument being that they're going to show that there are more harms coming out of the benefits. So the reason why we felt that the opposition lost is because while on both sides they both talk about the benefits and harms, the opposition could not legitimately justify why choice is far more important than the benefits that the proposition is going to bring about, right? So you have them speaking about all the harms that come without forcible integration. You have them speaking about all the harms that come with forcible integration. But if we were to just equate both sides, just put both sides aside, we felt that on the side proposition, the principle was stronger, and the opposition could not prove why preserving the idea of choice, despite all the harms that are coming from the side government, is the best way to go. So that's where we thought that the debate lied, and we gave it to proposition. Anything you want to add? I think it's possible for both sides to have argued education, and of course they had to prove systematically how education is something that's going to change minds, and that it's okay, despite conflicts being in the short term, that in the long term education is going to bring that kind of benefits. But yes, I think we wanted them to provide a long term analysis on why education, perhaps maybe with few examples of real world, is the right way to go about bringing about long term change. So I think they had to be okay conceding that yes, in the short term we are going to have conflict, because magically we cannot eradicate the conflict that exists already. Do you all have anything to say? Who did you think was going to? I think
very tough time, because both of us came in with preconceived notions. Principally, we were for them and we were rooting for them. You cannot somehow disconnect from the principle and the human element that you come in with, but we had to be very objective. It was a very, very close fight, I think. And we had to give it to them because they built on their arguments. And like Sai said, there wasn't a big, huge benefit that they showed us in implementing their side of the story.
I also feel that, the opposition could have been...
You have a mic right there.
I'm not sure if that's on. Yeah. I also think that the opposition could have been a little more clear about their alternative framework. And I felt that kept shifting, which made it a little problematic. When you spoke about a unified curriculum, how you intended to go about doing that. So perhaps if you could have more clarity around that at the beginning, that would do you a lot of good. Yeah. It shifted over the course of the...
No, it didn't shift. It kept
building on...
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Respond to, yeah.
No, they could
Okay.
become granular about it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's not a biggie. It's just fabulous job, guys.
Before we break up, points of information. All right, so we thank everyone. We have another event here, which is the reading final, of which again Bhumi and Baruni are in the finals. So we'd like to wish them all the best. Yes.
Hello.
That's the presenter screen.
Check, check.
Bro, just connect the head mic also. It's not then no problem.
Check. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello.
This I don't know, bro. This.
Check, check. Hello.
No, CG give. CG told me. Actually, it should be like this. Zero only. अच्छा होगा. Classrooms ಎಲ್ಲ classrooms ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಂಟರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ನೋಡಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಲೈವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬ್ಲರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಸರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಲೈವ್ ಇದೆ ತಾನೆ ಹೌದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ಲರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಓಕೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಓಕೆ ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬಟ್ ಏನು ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ನೋಡಿ ಅದು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಮಿಕ್ಸರ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯೋ ಅದು ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಚೆಕ್ ದಟ್ ಓಕೆ ವಿಲ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ
ಚೆಕ್. ಹಲೋ, ಹಲೋ.
ನಿಮ್ದು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಹೆಡ್ಫೋನ್ ಉಂಟಾ
Check. Mic test 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Check. Hello, hello.
Check, check.
Check. Check. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, check. Hello, hello. Full unta volume. Check. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, mic check. Hello, hello.
Hello, check.
Check. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, mic check. Hello. Hello, mic test 1, 2, 3. Hello, check. 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 Hello. No. Hello, hello. Hello, mic test. Hello. Check. Volume unta? Clear untalla? Check. Hello. Hello. Check, check. Hello.
Finalists, please sit here. Stand here? Okay. Okay. Everyone who is coming in, please sit down in a line. In a line. Okay. Finalist, stand to the left. Parents who are just coming in to watch the final, please settle down on the chairs. No, I'm going to invite them on stage. They can sit on the chairs if they want. Guys, sit on the chairs to the side. Alliance, guys. Guys, sit here if you want. You can sit here. Sit down in a line, guys. Do not leave spaces like that. Sit in a line. Huh. Guys, stop it. Let them like Hello, everyone. Okay. Hello and welcome to the grand finale of the R.K. Narayan Reading Growth Award 2025-26. I'm sure most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I am Sneha. I am the quiz master for today, and I'm usually the reading specialist in the senior school. Now, before we begin the quiz, I want to tell all of you a little bit about the R.K. Narayan Reading Growth Award, followed by a couple of housekeeping rules for the day. So, the Reading Growth Award for 2025-26 was launched in November last year for learners across grades 7 and 8. The challenge aims to foster sustained reading stamina by getting participants to read 10 books across diverse genres, from science fiction to realistic fiction to magic realism. Our participants have been actively taking part in enriching activities that deepen their understanding of the books. We've had author interactions with authors of Absence of Squirrels and Giants, and we have also had a panel discussion about a greater goal. Earlier this month, these were all efforts to help our readers engage more meaningfully with the books that they have been reading. It has given us immense pleasure to see how well each and every team that participated has done. They have all put their best foot forward, and we are all incredibly proud of you. Let's have a huge round of applause for the participants themselves. This challenge would not have been possible without all of you. So now let's move on quickly to some housekeeping rules. Every round of the quiz begins with an example question to demonstrate to you how the questions work, right? So audience members will get to respond to these example questions, okay? I will announce every audience question before we display it on the screen behind me. If you know the answer to the example question, to the audience question, you raise your hands, participants, okay? I will point to the participant who gets to answer that question only after I point to that participant should they respond. If you respond without raising your hand, that answer will not be qualified, even if it is the correct answer, okay? Please make sure you raise your hand before you say the answer, all right? If you get the right answer, you will get 10 points, and you will get a little prize that one of our reading team members will come give to you, right? Second of all, this is a competitive quiz. Our participants are going to be under quite a bit of stress. So please, let's try to stay calm and quiet and give them the time and peace that they need to think and respond. Okay, so let's keep our excitement in check and express it when the participants are not answering their questions, right? I also know that quite a lot of you are likely to know the responses to the questions that are for the participants as well. In such cases, please contain your excitement and do not even whisper the responses to each other. That will only ensure that the quiz is fairer for the participants, right? You can discuss them after the answer has been announced, right? So that is about it. Those are our housekeeping rules. So without further ado, let's get started with the quiz. We have, like I said, all gathered here today for the coveted R.K. Narayan Reading Growth Award prize. And it is a day that all our participants have been working towards. And while we are proud of all of them, like I said, 4 of the teams have gone above and beyond, proving their mettle as diverse, deep, and engaged readers, making it to the grand finale of the challenge. So it is with great pride and joy, I would like to announce our 4 finalists. Starting with team 1, we have the Fellowship, Bhumi Bhandari and Baruni Das. As I'm announcing, you guys can head up on stage. There's a table marked for you. Please go settle down there. The second team is No Shelf Control with Riddhi Mantri and Twisha Agarwal from 7D and 7A. Please settle down at the table marked table 2. The third team is A&T Pudding Society with Tara Ramakrishnan and Aradhya Khemka. Please settle down at team 3. And the final team is Books and Cats with Eka Sivaraman and Avram Mukur. Yes. Okay, let's have a loud round of applause for all our incredible finalists. Congratulations, all of you. You have been assigned seats. Everyone settled down? Yeah? Okay, excellent. Now that we have all our finalists, let's start the quiz. We're going to start it by getting to know the rounds for the quiz, all right? So let's see what's on the menu. Our first round is going to be potpourri, which are basically themed questions in which all of you will get to choose a category under which there will be 2 questions that you get to respond to. The second round is stranger danger, in which you will pick words that belong to a category that you choose. After this, we will have an elimination round in which the team with the lowest score will be eliminated. Following this, we'll have our third round, which is taboo, in which a member of the team will describe a word on the taboo card without using the taboo words. And after this, we will have another elimination round in which the team with the lowest score again will be eliminated. And then finally, we'll have our fourth round, which is rapid fire, in which you will turn by turn answer quick and challenging questions in a timed round, right? So these are the rounds. Any questions as of now? No? Are we clear? All right, great. So let's kick off round 1 then. It's time for round 1. So the way this is going to go is the team to my left right now will be the first to respond, and then we'll move clockwise for this round. For every round, this will change, okay? Let's get into the rules for potpourri. You will have 4 questions from an available 10 questions that you will respond to. Each team will respond to 1 question. There are 5 categories with 2 questions each, all right? And you will get 10 points for a correct answer. There is no negative marking in the first question under the category, okay? Once you have answered the first question, though, there will be an option for you to respond to the second question for extra 10 points. The caveat there is that if you get the second question wrong, you will get -5 points, okay? You will have 30 seconds to respond to all the questions, okay? Are we clear? Do we all understand the rules? Can I get a thumbs up? Yes. Can you use the mic? Yeah. That is, yeah. No, that's not. Let's actually also do a quick mic test, guys. Hello. Okay. Is that mic working? Hello. Okay, great. So we'll pass this mic around. Is that one working? Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Do we get to see the second question before we pick if we want to?
No, the question will be shown to you after you've decided. Yes, Tara. Yes.
Do any of the questions get passed on to the next team for this round?
No. Questions will not be passed on. They may be sent to audience. We will decide that, yeah. It's not working? It is working. Speak in it, yeah? Okay, all right. You'll also get a better idea once we have the audience round with the example question. So let's move to the example question. Let's first see the categories. We have objects of note, which will be questions based on significant objects in the arcane books. We'll have additional matter, which is questions based on footnotes, dedications, maps from the challenge books. We'll have mix-up, fix-up, which is in which you have to guess books from the challenge based on images describing key events. We'll have questions from the panel discussion or author interaction based on the 3 arcane events that we've had, including the author interaction and the panel discussion. And finally, we'll have first in line, in which you guess the book based on the first line of the book. And then, of course, we have whose line is it anyway? That is going to be the example question. Whose line is it anyway you'll see a line from a book. You have to guess who said it and which book it is from, all right? So we will move on to the example question now. So this is the audience question. Before we see the question, just quickly to tell you guys, a question will appear on your screen. I will read it out. Then you will have 30 seconds to respond. Raise your hands as I'm reading the question if you want to respond. I will point to the person, only that person will respond. Are we clear? Yes? Okay, let's move to the example question. Whose line is it anyway? Who said this line and which book is this dialogue from? We are coming for you and we are going to beat you. Time starts now. Yes? Brianna Scurry said this, and which book is it from?
Greater Goal. A Greater Goal.
A Greater Goal. Fantastic, excellent, well done. That is the right answer. Well done. There'll be a prize coming your way. Okay, so audience, you now this is not optional for you anymore because we are also demonstrating rules. You get to now answer another question for extra points. So at this point, participants, you get to decide whether you want to answer the extra question or not for a 10 extra points. What you need to keep in mind when you're deciding this is that if you get this answer wrong, you will get a -5 points, okay? All right? Audience doesn't have a choice. Audience will answer the next question. So next question is on your screen now. Okay, so who said this line and which book is this dialogue from? I want to take care of your boy. Slow and steady, steady and slow. That's the way to go. It will be different this time, right? I hope. Yes, Priyanshu.
Giants, Kato's mother said this.
Okay,
grandmother.
The correct answer. Yes, Myra.
It's louder than hunger. It's the grandma.
That's okay. You have part of the answer right, but that's it. We're going to give only 2 chances to the audience. The correct answer is Jake says this in Louder Than Hunger, right? He's saying this to his grandmother. Okay, are we clear? So in such a situation, if you had gotten the question wrong, you would have gotten -5. Okay, participants. Do we understand? Are we clear? Any questions now after the example round? No? Can we get? Yes, Avram.
If we raise our hand, does that...
You don't have to raise your hand. This is
okay,
for the
yeah,
audience.
but...
You guys will, only Bhumi and Baruni will respond now. Okay? Yes.
So now guessing whose line is it isn't a part of these topics. We can't choose it now.
That's done.
Okay.
That's done now. That was an example question. You have these 5 categories to pick from. Okay, you can decide. But we will start with Bhumi and Baruni. Yes. Do you guys have a pick?
Mix up, fix up.
You want to start with mix up, fix up. Okay, let's go to the question. Before we go to the question though, this is the question. These pictures represent key plot events from a book in the Arcane Challenge. Name the book. Your time starts now, Bhumi and Baruni.
The Voyage of Samsung.
Okay, can we move to the answer slide? That is the correct answer. Fantastic. Well done, team 1. Excellent. Okay, let's move to team 2. Oh, sorry. Yes, we have another question. You don't want to attempt the extra question? Okay. All right. Let's move on to team 2 then. Yes, team 2. Which one? Which category? No, that's done. So mix up anything other than mix up, fix up, you can choose. Sure. So the question for objects of note on your screen now. In El Nino by Pam Munoz-Ryan, Kai is looking for something that belonged to his sister before she disappeared. What was it? Your time starts now. Okay, fantastic. That's the correct answer. Well done, team 2. Very well done. Good job. Okay, do you want to attempt an extra question? Okay, can we hold the mics? Okay, yeah. Can we hold the mics closer and speak louder into it?
It's working. It's working.
Speak louder into it. Don't hold it this way. Okay?
We'd like to attempt the second question.
You want to attempt the second question? Can we see the second question? Okay, identify the following object and the book it is featured in. It is a pretty glass ball hanging in the window above a comfortable looking chair. I can't take my eyes off the call. It's all different colors and it catches the sun, spraying rainbow drops of light all across her walls and ceiling. What is this object? Your time starts now.
This phrase is from the book The Wrong Way Home.
Uh-huh. And what is the object? You have to guess the object. That is the task. It's okay. You have 15 seconds.
The phrase is from the book A Wrong Way Home, and the object is...
Okay, that's fine. We can move on to the answer. That is the correct answer. Wrong Way Home is the right answer. Fairy orb is the point. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next team. Team 3, you can choose from anything other than mix up, fix up, and objects of note.
We choose first in line.
Okay, so let's move on to the first in line question. Which book from the reading list opens with the following lines? The house stood a little apart from the rest of the block, as if it did not quite fit in. Perhaps it was wary of the other house, or perhaps it was the other houses that wished to keep their distance from it. Which book is this from? Your time starts now.
I believe the answer is not quite a ghost.
Fantastic. That's the correct answer. Well done. Well done, Team 3. Good job. Okay. Do you want to attempt an extra question?
No.
Okay. No. All right. Excellent. Can we move on to the next? Okay. Team 4. You can pick from first in line or additional matter.
Okay, we'll go for additional matter.
Yeah. Okay. So additional matter then. That's your question. Dash was the newsletter that was distributed throughout the island every Wednesday, containing announcements and classified advertisements. It was put together by Huma from Sector G. Fill in the blank with the name of the local newsletter of Thutta. Your time starts now.
Is it the Thutta Times?
That's the wrong answer, I'm afraid. The correct answer is Thuttention. Okay. Do you guys want to attempt the extra question?
We'll go for another.
You want to attempt the extra question? Okay. No, we have to. Okay, we'll go to the second question in a moment. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. The participants need to speak up, please. Hold the mic closer to your mouth the way I am, right? This is your extra question, Team 4. In Giants, author Hutuka Sumi provides a glossary of Nagamese words at the end of the book. One of the words is Ilomi. What does this word mean? You have 30 seconds to answer.
Friend.
Okay, no, that's the wrong answer. Ilomi is a tender way of saying my most loved. End of round 1 for us. Very well done, all teams. Let's now move on to round 2. So round 2 is Stranger Danger. It's basically a round in which participants will again get to choose from 5 categories. There will be 1 question under each category. Each category will have 8 words on the screen. You have to identify which of the 4 words belong to that category. Okay? For every correct guess, for every word that you get right, you will get 10 points. Okay? You will have 1 minute to correctly choose the words that belong to that category. Okay? And you can all keep guessing, like each team can keep guessing till you get a word wrong. The moment you get a word wrong, we're going to stop right there. And whatever score you have until then will be the score that is accounted. Okay? Are we clear? Any questions? No? Okay. So let's go to an example question for this round now. These are the categories that we have. We have real people, we have mythical creatures, animals, real places, and fictional places from the Ark and Narayan books. So there will be 8 words that will be on your screen. 4 of them will be from these categories, right? So let's get to pets. Before we go there, though, audience, again, same rule. I'm not going to read this question out, though. You'll see the question. You'll have 1 minute to choose answers. You raise your hand and you tell me 1 word at a time, okay? Are we clear? Okay, let's go to the example question now. Audience, you can start guessing now. You have 1 minute. Yes. Toto is, sorry, yeah, can we? Toto. Toto is the wrong answer. So this is what will happen when the participants are doing this. If your first guess is wrong, that's where your round ends, right? So the audience doesn't get to continue guessing anymore, right? Because the first answer was wrong, so that's where we end, right? Now we'll see the correct answer for this. So the answers are Trixie, Gulmohar, Ilhe, and Nimbus, right? These are pets from the Archean books, okay? So this is how this will work. Any questions, team members? Any questions, participants? Are we clear? Okay, so for this round, we will be going counterclockwise. Team 4 will start first. You'll get first pick. Can we see the categories? Yeah. You can pick a category now.
we'll go with real people for the category.
Okay, real people. Your time starts now.
In this one, we had, I think, there was Frankie Bellows from Wrong Way Home.
That's right.
Brianna Scurry.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Take a guess. Better to take a guess than not take a guess, guys. No, you just have to mention if they were.
Cyril Radcliffe.
Cyril Radcliffe is the wrong answer. So you get the first 2 points, right? Well done, guys. Okay. Fantastic. Can we have a round of applause, guys? They're doing well. Yeah? Okay. This is the correct answer. Brianna Scurry is from A Greater Goal. Frankie Bellows is from A Wrong Way Home. Emily Dickinson is Jake's favorite poet from Louder Than Hunger. And Jake was mentioned in King of Nothing, right? Okay, let's move on to team 3. You can pick any category other than real people.
We choose fictional places.
Fictional places. Let's go to fictional places now. Your time starts now.
Library of Despair and Sorrow.
Library of Despair and Sorrow is the right answer.
Isle of Forgotten Souls.
Isle of Forgotten Souls is the wrong answer. Okay, so let's go to the right answer. It's okay. We have Library of Despair and Sorrow from El Nino. We have The Ranch. We have Isle of Lost Voices. And we have Sock Squared from An Absence of Squirrels, right? Okay. Shall we move on? But well done. Good effort, guys. Okay. Let's move on to team 2. Which category would you like to choose?
We would choose real places.
Hold the mic closer to your face.
Real places.
Real places. Okay. Let's go to real places. 1 minute now.
North London.
That's the wrong guess. Okay, so maybe we can throw this to the audience. Yeah, who wants to guess? Yes, Yash. Kerala is the wrong answer. Yes. Yes, Rived. Imphal is the wrong answer. Yes, Vivan. Wisconsin is also the wrong answer. Yes. Yes.
California.
California is the right answer. We have 3 more places to go. Yes. Arizona is the wrong answer. Pretty much right. Yes, Priyanshu.
Chicago.
Chicago is the right answer. It's from Louder Than Hunger. Yes. Wrong answer. Okay. All right. I think let's move to the answer. I think we've pretty much eliminated all of them. So South London is where King of Nothing is set. Impur is where Giants is set. California is where First State of Being is set. And Chicago is where Louder Than Hunger is set. Round of applause for the audience as well for an effort. Good effort. And team 2, I'm sure you'll catch up. It's fine. Team 1, you get to pick now from the remaining categories, which are mythical creatures and animals. Yes.
Mythical creatures.
Mythical creatures. Okay. Those are the mythical creatures. You have a minute to respond.
Murmalion.
Murmalion is the right answer. Well done.
Timiala.
Timiala is the right answer. Well done.
Shiku.
Shiku is the right answer. Absolutely well done.
The Spirit of the Sea.
The Spirit of the Sea is also the right answer. Absolutely. Well done. Good job.
I just realized.
Good job. Huh? Sorry? Shikyu is not. Okay. Sorry. All right. That's my bad. Sorry. Give us 1 minute, guys. Yeah, okay, so there's some issues with this answer, guys. So we're going to give you another question, unfortunately. No, they weren't. So the question was wrong. You guys weren't wrong. The question was wrong. We're sorry, but this is, we'll have to do another question. Animals is what you will have to guess now. Can we have that question on the screen? Okay. Which of these animals were in the Archean books? Dolphins is the wrong answer, unfortunately. Okay. Okay. Sorry? Sorry about that, guys. You will get 30 points. The first question was wrong on our end, but murmelions do exist in El Nino, so we will consider that answer. Apologies for that. Okay, so that brings us to the end of round 2. Sorry? The points, yes, we will now come to that. So after this, now we will have our first elimination round. Our judges are just calculating the scores, so we'll give them a minute to do that. In the meantime, guys, you've all been doing really well. Sorry about that quick little glitch, but you will get 30 points for that. Don't worry. Yeah. Are we feeling okay, teams? Yeah? Yes, Baruni. Which one did you get wrong? Yeah. All right, so you guys got Shikyo, Timiala, and Spirit of the Sea, right? Those are the ones that we are counting. Yeah, I think it's mermaid. Okay, so it's 30 points, guys. All right, so judges are just calculating the score. We will just hold on till that gets calculated. They're done? Okay. So we're ready to announce the scores for rounds 1 and 2. Can we have it on the screen now? All right. So team 1 with Bhumi and Baruni, the fellowship have 40 points. Team 2 with Riddhi and Tvisha have 5 points. Team 3 with Aradhya and Tara have 20 points. And team 4 with Avram and Eka have 15 points. But you got -5 at the beginning, right? You got one answer wrong. Yeah. You took the double points. Yeah. Okay. So with that, the team with the lowest points, which is team 2, gets eliminated. They have to get off stage. So congrats to the top 3. Well done, guys. Team 2, can we come off stage? That was a good effort, team 2. Well done. Good job. Come settle down. Okay, fantastic. Okay. All right, so are we top 3? Congratulations. Are we ready for round 3? Yeah? Okay, let's move on to round 3 then. Round 3 is a slightly more exciting round where we will be playing a game called Taboo, where you will have 6 questions with 2 per team. So you will get 10 points for a correct guess within 30 seconds, but you will get no points for answers beyond the time limit. Basically, the way this game will work is each team will nominate one person who will be shown the taboo word and the word that has to be guessed, along with taboo words that cannot be used. And you can only use words and phrases and not full sentences. You cannot gesture, you cannot spell. You can only give verbal cues, and you will be disqualified if you used a taboo word. Okay? Yes. No, the words that you use to describe the words don't have to be related to the books. Yes, yes, Tara.
Is this going to be between the duos, or is it going to be
no, between, so for example, if you are doing it, you will come, one of you will explain the word, the other person will guess. So you have to assign roles between the teams, right? Like among the teams. Yes, Eka. Yes. So only, yes, everyone please use mic, sorry. There is a shortage of mics. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll just get a mic to you. Okay. So are we clear about how this works? I will come to each of you now. The highest scoring team will go first. And each of you will get a card. I will show that card to you. One person will explain, the other person will guess. Make sure you don't use the taboo words or, of course, the word itself. No part of the word itself can also be used, right? And yeah, that's about it. Yes? Mike.
Miss, when you say no part of the word, like, if that exact sequence is in another word that we want to use, that's not allowed.
Can you give me an example? Yeah.
Okay. Like, the word is contain. Or like, wait.
So you can't say container.
Okay, so the word is stop, and then I can't say stopping.
No.
Okay.
Don't say stopping. Yeah. No part of the word should be in the words that you use to describe the word. Yes.
But if the word is something like homework, I can't say home or work either.
Yeah, no. No part of the word can be used to describe the word. And none of the taboo words can be used to describe the word, right? You will also have 30 seconds to do this, okay? Any other questions? No, for one word. We'll have round 1 and round 2. Any other questions? Are we clear? Okay. Yeah, I have the cards. Okay, so we're not going to have an example round for this because it's harder to do that. So, yes, we're going to start with Team 1. Can Team 1 come on stage? Can we stand so that everyone can see us? Can we get another mic for both the team members? Okay, so Baruni is going to explain the word. Bhumi is going to guess the word. Are we clear? Let's get started then. Here is your word, Baruni. Take the sticky off. Yeah, 30 seconds on the clock now.
Small and a number after 3. Like there's 2 words. Okay, the first word is small, okay? But in the language you study.
Petite.
Second word is the number system. The number system. Say the number system. Say numbers.
4.
Yeah, say the whole thing.
Petite 4.
Fantastic, well done. Okay. What? No. Okay. Okay, so that's the right answer. Well done, Team 1. This was the taboo word. It was petit 4. And these were, this was the actual word, and the 6 below it are the taboo words. No, you can't do that. Okay. Are we clear? Do we understand? Yeah. What does that mean? To guess, I mean, sure, if you're not saying a word related to it, then sure, you can say a word in an accent, sure, if you think that will help. Yeah. You can't say the same word in another language, but you can use an accent to explain it. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Are we clear? Let's go to team 2. Tara and... No. Who is the second? Sorry. Team 3. So, yes, yeah. Tara and Aradhya. Get your mic, please, when you come. All right. Okay, who is explaining and who is guessing? You're explaining? Okay, Tara, here's your card. Take the sticky off and your time starts now.
A food in one of your books. Okay? The ocean book. A food. An American food.
Try. Yeah.
Like a stereotypical American food.
Okay, your time's up. Unfortunately, team 2. This was the response. This was the word and the card. It was pasta and meatballs. Yeah. Okay, it's fine, guys. Team, can we get back? That was a good effort, guys. Good effort. Okay. Good effort. All right, let's have a round of applause. Thank you. Okay. All right, Avram, Eka, can we have you on the center stage? Yeah. Who's going to explain and who's going to guess? You're going to explain? Okay, so here's your card. You can take off the sticky. Your time starts now.
Okay. It's something, okay, this two words. The second word is something that they give you in movies. What is a typical movie snack?
Oh, okay. Popcorn?
Cut.
No gesturing.
Cut. Like cut the word in half.
Corn?
Yes. Okay, the first word. On a barbecue?
Roast corn.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well done. Okay. Good job. It was roast corn. This was the word and the taboo words for it. Okay. All right. Well done, all teams. Round 1 of taboo is concluded. We will now move to the second round. We'll go counterclockwise this time. So you guys get to come up again.
Do we have to swap or can we do the same thing again? Do we have to swap?
Swap what?
Take roles?
No. You can decide. Okay. All right, so team 3, this is round 2 for you. Here's your card. Your time starts now.
Okay. When you walk, what do you leave behind you?
Footprints.
Or?
A path.
No, something else. Okay. The last 2 words. Okay. What is a cold thing you eat in summer?
Oh, ice cream.
Okay, first word. When you walk, what do you leave behind you? Different word.
Trail ice cream.
Okay, that was the wrong answer. The correct answer is tracks ice cream from absence of squirrels. But good effort, guys. You got quite close. Well done. You got ice cream. So good job on that. Tara and Aradhya, can we have you on stage now? Yes. Okay. Who's explaining and who's guessing? You're still explaining? Okay. Fantastic. This is your card. Take the sticky off. Your time starts now.
It's a flavor of non-veg, like a non-veg food.
Meat.
Beef. What do you call the part of one sort of very popular non-veg food? A non-veg food, which clucks.
No gesturing.
Which clucks.
Chicken?
Yeah. What do you call a part of it? A part of it.
Chicken breast.
Another one, quick.
Chicken.
But you fly.
Chicken wings.
Fantastic, but not entirely the correct answer. It was hot wings from King of Nothing, but you got quite close, so well done, Tara. Good effort. Good effort, Tara and Aradhya. Okay, guys, let's calm down. This is our final question. For team 1. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Your time starts now.
American breakfast.
You used a taboo word, Baruni. You were disqualified. Breakfast was a taboo word. It's okay. It's okay. So the word was pancakes, and the taboo word breakfast was used. So that's the wrong answer. You do not get points for that. Okay. All right. Well done, all participants. That concludes the taboo round of the quiz. Okay. Okay. All right. So now we will have our second elimination round. The scoreboard will be on our screens now. Okay. So team 1 has 10 points. Team 3 has 0 points, and team 4 has 10 points again. So you are tied. So we will have a tiebreaker taboo round again. Sorry, that was my mistake. Teams 1 and 4 have qualified for the final and fourth round. There will be no tiebreaker. That was my mistake because team 3 is disqualified and eliminated. So team 3, could you please head off stage? Congrats to teams 1 and 4. Very, very well done. Great performance and good effort, Tara and Aradhya. We are very, very proud of you. Good job. Okay, so teams 1 and 4. We are at the finale, the final round of the grand finale. So, like I had said, this is round 4, which is going to be rapid fire. You're going to have 30 seconds on the clock to respond to these questions. There's going to be 4 questions, 2 for each team, 10 points for the right answer, 5 points off for the wrong answer. So answer very carefully because it's not just about getting the right answer, it's also about ensuring that you don't get the wrong answer now, okay? Stakes are quite high now. The team with the higher points will start. We don't have a team with the higher points. No, wait. We're not. This is why we need a tiebreaker. Yeah. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, because we don't have a higher scoring team, the way we're going to do this is for round 1, team 1 will start, and for round 2, team 2 will start. Okay? Is that fair? All right. Okay. So are we clear about how it's going to work? Anyone have any questions about this? No? Okay. Okay. All right. So we're just going to get started. So we don't have an example question for this round because it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to have a question from one of the R.K. Narayan books. And I'm going to read the question out to the team members. And then after I'm done reading the question, you will have 30 seconds to respond. All right? So team 1, your first question for the rapid fire round is on your screen now. Anton Charles pretends to be too cool for school on most days. However, he often compares his real life with topics from a subject for which he clearly has a passion. He even resentfully admits to it being kinda lit. Which subject is this? Your time starts now.
Science.
That's the wrong answer, unfortunately. Team 1, the correct answer is history. History is Anton's favorite subject. But good effort, team 1. We're going to move on to the question for team 4. This question is on your screen now. In the 2019 World Cup, when the US women's national team won, the audience's chants went from the commonly patriotic USA, USA, to something far more political in support of a cause close to the players' hearts. What was this chant? Your time starts now.
Equal pay.
Equal pay is the right answer. Absolutely. Well done. Equal pay, equal pay. in support of the US women's national team's demand for equal pay. Well done, Team 4. Excellent. Okay. This is the final set of rapid-fire questions. And now Team 4 gets to start with the next question. Okay. Are you ready, Team 4? Yeah? Okay, so your first question for the second round is on your screen now. Ridge asks Michael for new clothes because he's cold. Michael gives him an oversized shirt that he picked up from the floor. This shirt has the name of a band that Michael describes as way better than Backstreet Boys. Which band was this? Your time starts now.
I think it's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's the wrong answer, Team 4. The answer is Rage Against the Machine. So that's that. Let's move on now to team, but good effort. Let's move on now to Team 1. Team 1, are you ready for your question? Yeah? Okay, so your question is on your screen now. In the author's note for The Voyage of Sam Singh, Geeta Rally, who's author, mentions that the Isle of Lost Voices is based on a real-life place that is now a part of India. Which place is this? Your time starts now. Yes.
Andaman and Nicobar.
Fantastic. It is Andaman Islands. Well done. It is the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean, which was once used by the British as a penal colony for prisoners. And there was a jail there, which was also mentioned in the book, The Octopus, right? Fantastic. Okay. So with that, we have concluded both the rounds of our finale. Our judges are just tallying the scores, and we will have the scores shortly. Let's keep the energy up. Okay. All right, so we have a scoreboard. Team 1 is at 5 points, and Team 4 is also at 5 points. We have a tie. Okay, so we have some tiebreaker questions ready for our participants. So we're going to have a tiebreaker with a rapid-fire round. So we'll do who gets to? Okay, so since the last time Team 1 got to go first, Team 4 gets to go first now, right? So the tiebreaker will have similar rules, except for you will only have 15 seconds on the clock to respond. Point system will be the same. You have 10 points for the right answer, -5 for the wrong answer. Team with the higher points in the reading, okay, in the reading challenge starts, okay. So I guess Bhumi and Baruni get to start. Sorry, guys. This was, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Bhumi and Baruni had the higher score in the overall reading challenge, which is why in the tiebreaker, they get to answer first, even though they answered first last round, right? Okay. Are we clear about the rules? Okay. So your first question will be on your screen. I'll read it out, and then you'll have 15 seconds to respond. Okay? So your first question on your screen now. Before the first park outing described in King of Nothing, Kehinde promises Anton loud music and girl dems if he leaves his nan at the hospital to join them at the park, which Anton does. At the park, which famous British rapper does Anton's friend Caleb ask to listen to because he claims this rapper is his distant cousin? Your time starts now.
Is it okay if you say first name? Claudia.
Sorry? Can you hold the mic up? And
Claudia.
Claudia is the wrong answer, unfortunately. The correct answer is Getz, who is a rapper. And Caleb claims Getz is also his cousin. We don't know if that's true or not. But okay, good effort, Team 1. Team 4, it's time for your question. Are you ready?
Yeah, we are.
No? Yes, yeah, okay. All right. Can we have Team 4's question on the screen now? After some initial tests and diagnosis at Whispering Pines, Dr. Parker asks Jake to use a wheelchair to combat a heart condition he developed due to his low weight. What condition is this? Your time starts now.
Do we have to say the whole thing?
You have to say the condition, yes, the name of the condition. Your time starts now.
Is it microbrachiardia? Something like that?
Okay. This is a tough one because you've gotten part of it. You've gotten part of the answer. Can we see the answer? The answer is bradycardia, which is an abnormally slow heart rate. Our judges say that that's not the same as the response that you gave, so unfortunately, you do not get that point. Microbradycardia is not cutting it for our judges. Okay, so we will check the scores. Okay, we have to continue with the tiebreaker because both teams have gotten the answers partially wrong. Things are getting a little tense now. Teams, okay, all right. So we continue with team 1 now. Team 1, are you ready for your next question? Okay, your next question on the screen now. Before Jake started to fear food, him and his beloved grandmother would visit a departmental store on Saturday mornings. There, they would get samples of food in little plastic cups, everything from spicy chicken strips to steaming hot pizza rolls and mint chocolate chip ice cream. This is one of the first memories Jake recollects when he starts writing about his feelings on Dr. Parker's instructions. What was the name of that departmental store that they would go to every Saturday morning? The time starts now. Team 1?
We don't know.
You don't know? Okay, so you're passing the question. No, not passing the question. You're not going to respond to that question. Okay, so they let go of that. The correct answer for that, does anyone? Okay, all right. It's Ward's Food Center from Louder Than Hunger. Okay? All right. So team 1 has not responded. Team 4, are you ready for your question? Yes. Okay. All right. Team 4, your question is on your screen now. The captain of Thutta used to be a protester. She was not used to being protested against, though. She thought she was a hero and felt she must be universally beloved. So, when a cheeky protest poster caricaturing the captain surfaced, she was unprepared and upset. What were the contents of this poster and what action did the captain take to address what she perceived to be a slight? The first question you can ignore. The second question you can ignore. The first question, what were the contents of this poster? That's all you have to answer.
Miss, it was like, it said that...
Your time starts now. Yes.
It said that the captain looked like a squirrel and it used it as an insult.
Okay, well done. Good job. That is the right answer. Yeah, so the poster was indeed caricaturing the captain's resemblance to a squirrel, her small mouth, upturned nose, etc. And she started responding to that by sending people off the island, but we didn't want a response to that part because it would be 2 questions. So that ends the second tiebreaker, and we will see if that has actually broken the tie. Has it? Yeah? Okay, so we're done. We have the winners for the R.K. Narayan Reading Growth Award 2025-26. Finally, the winning team is Team 4. Congratulations to Eka and Avram. Well done, guys. Very, very well done. Very good job. Things got really tense at a point, but I'm really glad that you guys made it. All right. Well done to all the participants. Thank you to all the audience members who participated in the questions. Thank you to the parents for being here. It has been an incredible journey for all our learners. And like I said right at the beginning, we're proud of all of you for being the kind of engaged and incredible readers that all of you are. And we hope that you keep the spirit up throughout the year, not just during the reading challenge. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Sorry? Yeah, we can have let's have a round of applause for both our finalized teams. Team 1, Baruni and Bhumi. Team 4, Avram and Eka. Can we all, can all the finalists come on stage? And yes, let's all the finalists can please come on stage and... Yes.
Turn around and go back. Can we have the first slide, please?
Yes.
Come here. Come to the stage. In your team.
Guys, all of you, please head back to your classes now. Head back to your classes. Thank you. Guys, who's Eka, Avram? Are they still here? Avram? He's forgotten his bottle.